How's it going? What's up? Hey, I need an intro. Okay, so Matrix Resurrections. It's gonna be a tough one, man. It's gonna be a tough one because I don't think I was on board with this one. I don't think I liked it at all, and it wasn't because it was a horrible movie, because it's not horrible, but there were a lot of problems with this movie. I mean, I did enjoy some aspects of it, so don't get me wrong there. It's definitely worth a watch. I'm glad I did watch it. Uh, but there are a few issues that I'm going to talk about. And before we get started, go ahead and, if you wouldn't mind, like, share, subscribe, and if you have anything to say about this movie, I kind of want to hear about it because I don't know where I'm at on it. You know. So we dive back into Neo's story. Neo is working as a computer programmer, and the Matrix is kind of a game that he has produced. I did not enjoy the first half of this movie at all. I just kept waiting for something to happen. I mean, when you compare it to the original, he was in his apartment and he had a conversation with Morpheus, and we were off to the races. You knew what we were in for. You knew what was going on. It was pretty exciting, and I loved it. Compared to this one, where it just seemed to get just dragged out. I get what they were going for. I understand that, they had to show that Neo had been back in the, or he was pulled back in the Matrix. His mind had been wiped and everything, and we would just start going. My issues with this movie is at times this movie looked like it belonged on the Sci-Fi Channel. Like, it looked just that bad. It wasn't. It was just it just looked bad. I just kept thinking, this is not a movie for the theater. Like, this is some BS they shot in the backyard. You know? So, but I don't want to gig it too hard. There were some aspects of this movie that I did enjoy. I loved the overall aspect of Trinity and Neo trying to get back together. Neo seeing her, not really recognizing her, and her doing the same, but knowing that there was still something there. There were a lot of great ideas and concepts that went into this movie that I could really appreciate. I love the fact that everyone had gotten older, but that you get to see that Neo's sacrifice from the original trilogy did have an effect on those who lived in Zion, and he created a peace, which was one of the questions I had after the original trilogy. Did he live? Did he die? What happened? And what happened to Zion? And now we get those answers. Um, another issue that I think that I had with this was Niobe. Niobe, first of all, I didn't buy her as an 80-year-old woman, which is what she had to have been, right, in her 80s. I just didn't buy her as an old lady. But she was steadfast, headstrong in the original movies. She flew by the seat of her pants, literally, and she would always try to do what was right. And her arc has changed in the way where she has taken on more of a responsibility, I guess, that she learned from Morpheus, and that she needed to be able to protect her people, maintain that peace, as opposed to just flying by the seat of her pants and being reckless and wasting the opportunity that Neo had given them. Morpheus is in this, sort of. I guess he died. I don't know if I missed that part, or what, but now there's a new Morpheus. I I guess. Um, I didn't mind him so much. Uh, I just, I just, I've, how do I put this? I feel like this movie falls into a lot of a trap that a lot of movies like this fall into. You have a blockbuster like a Matrix, and people love it. They love the lore. They love everything about it. And instead of people taking their time to come up with a suitable, instead of people taking their time to come up with a suitable continuation to the story, they take what people loved and they try to add it to the new story, afraid to take new steps, to introduce new characters, and to move forward with a completely new story without dragging some of the old into it. And that, I think, it was my primary issue with this, was there were no leaps and bounds when it came to this movie. I mean, this movie came out, you had concepts and ideas that just broadened your mind. I mean, the creator and his idea. I still think to this day that conversation between the creator, I don't know, maybe I have his name. The architect is his name. The conversation that the architect had with Neo, to me, even today, is one of the best scenes that I've ever seen in a sci-fi movie. His explanation, I've had to rewind and write down to understand exactly what he meant and to pick apart. It is mind-blowing, that conversation and what it meant and what it means on this overarching world. You kind of get something like that with Neil Patrick Harris. He is the same character, I believe, and he too has a wonderful explanation in this movie as to why a few of the human behaviors, and I like that. I love that dialogue between Neo and the analyst. I thought that was fantastic. But those are the few tidbits that I actually liked. And this was not a horrible movie. I don't want it to come off sounding like it was terrible. It did pique my interest. I did love looking at it. It just, something seemed off. It didn't have that drive that the initial 3 movies had. It was a lot lighter. It just, no one really died, you know. Smith's character, I was completely worried that they were gonna like ruin him. I actually liked him. In the beginning of the movie, not so much, but as he came on, his understanding his character, why he needs to face the analyst, the fact that he does not want Neo to go after Trinity, that all kind of made sense. It was just the way it was shot. There was something about the way this movie was shot. It was just really, really bad. Let me know what you think about Trinity and Neo kind of being a dyad. Where have I seen that before? No. So now Trinity can fly, and this is my last issue. The fact that Neo, I saw a lot of people complaining the fact that Neo there wasn't a lot of hand fighting the way that there was in the first 3 movies. And I completely am on board with that gripe. I get that they were saying there was a lot of pushing, using his powers to stop people from punching him or pushing people away or, stopping bullets or whatever. And believe it or not, I'm okay with that. Because he was super, he did find himself in this to have these powers. My only issue with him having these powers is when he fought Smith and he finally realized that he could stop bullets, he seemed to do so with ease.
Okay, you have some skill.
Nothing could touch him. He was indestructible. He had no fear of being beat by Smith, no fear of being shot, and he could fly. Now we're reintroduced to Neo. He can't fly. Stopping bullets looks like it's kind of taxing on him. Like it looks like he can't do it for a real long time. But he can stop. Like, how are you remembering some stuff, but you're not remembering how to fly? Like, I feel like you brought him in as a hero, and I get it. It probably would have been disastrous for the plot, trying to figure out how this man, how anyone on who works in the Matrix is going to stop him. But you created this, like, you created this issue. You've made essentially a superhero with no equal, and now you've taken some of his powers away, but not all. Like, I didn't understand that whole thing. I mean, I get you try to attribute it to him still not learning yet how he did what he did. I mean, it took Trinity like 2 minutes after you pulled her out of the Matrix. She learned how to fly. She didn't know how to do none of the other shit, but now she knows how to fly, and you're still struggling. You've been out of the Matrix for like a week, so I did not like that aspect. And but other than that, man, this was a decent story. This was decent, and go watch it. And I appreciate y'all watching. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I'll get back with you guys soon, and we'll do something else. All right, later.